Hello, guys. Here I am with another jam session of mine today. I got a very interesting topic. The topic is whether the millennial generation a living proof that despite doing everything right, the success is not guaranteed. So this is the very sensitive topic. If you're a millennial watching, I apologize if I offend you, and that is not my intention. This is solely a hypothetical concept which I have tried to explain using my perception of the millennials. So here I go. This is a very polished jam session of mine. So I'll try to explain what I feel about this. So let's start with this first segment called contract. The millennials, they grew up on the idea that education with hard work would yield them a stable life. The reason the belief was so strong within them is because they were raised during the times of relative peace. The world was already progressing forward economically and socially, and women have already fought for their rights, voting rights, and constitutions have been getting rewritten, and major dictatorships have already ended, and world is moving towards progressive capitalism and democracy. So promising times were ahead if you think if you were born during that time. As you can see, at this point, people would choose to get into the safety net because the world has seen a lot of fight and lost many of its sons and daughters. And it's obvious to think that nothing could go worse from their point of view. Anyone could easily think that nothing could go more wrong than what had already happened. They have seen civil wars, wars about oil, the major two wars, Holocaust, etc. All these things have already happened before. And what an average human wishes is nothing but a foolproof system that promises them a great future. The system I'm talking about is a laid off path by the government, like having schools, education, job, employment, and you know, giving birth to the children, and again continuing this prosperity of that country. So this is what they relied upon. Because of this, there is something called as gold star syndrome, which is active in most of the millennials. The reason is most of the governments and countries promoted the systems and paved a path for the average man of those times. So heavy reliance on these systems actually made them seek for external validation, and they always obeyed the rules of the system. This is the generation of medals and accolades received for their academic excellence. The promise was always been to be true to the system, and they always thought that success would be guaranteed if they stick with the rules that have been set by those systems. But in reality, they are hit with high student loans, stagnant wages, housing costs, and no post retirement safety, unlike the previous generation. Because a wave of economic disruption, which happened in 2008, and pandemics as well, made their future still a dream, which is very sad. Despite being a major workforce at the global level, this generation relied on the guidance and blueprint for success, which was promoted by the system that was very fragile and volatile. The system themselves were handled by the corrupt politicians and selfish bureaucrats. This ultimately led to the cognitive dissonance to this generation, which is nothing but a mental conflict which had happened between the world they were promised and the world they got to take part in. It's sad to see the generation with great spirit to become a victim of systems inefficiency. And what we can learn from this is to shift our judgment from this external locus of control to the internal locus which means we have to rely upon what our personal intuition is and what success is according to us. The success metric has to come from within, and we should not seek the external validation, and nothing is promised in this world. We always have something or the other going on in any part of this world, and we cannot expect stability in this fragile world. That's all I have. Thank you.